Okay, so in this video, we should kind of have this as our end product. So our eyes are glowy, and we actually also have some lights in the scene. So this is where we left off. And what you want to do is you want to go into the Layout tab, select the pumpkin, and then in the data, you want to go into Color Attributes, and that's where you have your color, and you want to create a new one. So these are the settings that you should have: vertex and color, and give it a name. I'll just call it glow, or you can double click it and change the name glow mask. And with that selected, you want to make sure it's selected and also the camera is selected there. Then you go into shading, and we will copy, so Shift D, this color attribute, and then select the glow mask and set it up so that it is connected to the surface. So now everything is black because our object is no longer showing the colors. It is now showing our new data attribute called glow mask, and we haven't painted it yet. So let's go to sculpting and paint it. So now if I choose the color white, I want to pretty much color the insides of the eyes and the mouth because that's where I want the light to come from. But right now it's very hard to see where I should paint, where the eyes are, where the mouth is. So I will hook up the color in the shading to the Toon BSDF. But even that is quite hard to see. So I'll drag off another thing called Vector Add, and I will hook that up into the color. So it's kind of like this. And the values I'll put down here is 0.2, 0.2, and 0.2. And now I can actually see what I have. So pretty much I just shifted the black into a dark gray. So when we actually want to paint the color white, it will be much easier to see where we should paint because we know where the eyes and the mouth is. So back to sculpting. And now I can paint the insides of the eyes or wherever I want the color to come from. And I'll paint that with solid white. Okay, so this is what I have. Now back to shading, I hook up the color back to the Toon BSDF. And now I will have to kind of create a new material. So I'll Shift A, type in emission, hook up the color of my glow mask into the strength. And then if I hook up emission to surface, you'll see what happens, right? So now if I change colors, the colors of the inside of the mouth will change. But I want to combine these two shaders that I made. So I create a new node called Mix Shader. I add the top Toon BSDF to the shader at the top. I'll add the emission at the bottom. And then my glow mask will be the factor. So FAC is for factor. And this is what your graph should look like at the end. And now I can play around with strength and also color. But I'm going to enable a few settings here so that I actually get more effect. So if I go into my render settings and I enable screen space reflections, then you can kind of see what that does. I can also enable ambient occlusion and bloom. And now if you play around with the strength of the light, you will actually get that little halo that comes from strong lights. And now I'll just add a camera, Shift A, add a camera, rotate it, and adjust it so that it's kind of looking at the pumpkin. And add some area lights as well. And this light will be my backlight, which I will actually have two backlights. You can feel free to experiment with lights. I'll leave a video to kind of guide you through lighting setups. The purpose of this light will be to kind of paint like an outline that you will see right here. So it paints that little highlight. And this is also where you kind of play around with the color of the light and the power of the light. When I did this video, it took me around like an hour, maybe 40 minutes of just messing around with the lights because every time I took a render or a picture of it, I wasn't a huge fan of it. So always go back and play around with the lights. You will actually see the lights change throughout the whole kind of video series because I always went back and changed them. So here I'm adding a second kind of backlight that will kind of illuminate it from the bottom a little bit. And then here I'm going to add a front light And what I'll do here, which is something you actually want to do early on in your process, is I will add a backdrop. So I create a plane, I make it big, go to edit mode, Control R, move that little connection piece to the back, and then I'll bring this back edge up, and then I will bevel the bottom. So this will kind of be like a backdrop for my render, and I'll bring it down as well. And I don't like the hard kind of edge that's there, so I move it to the back a little bit. And then I will actually duplicate one of these lights, and I'll set it as a backlight. And here I'll just speed up the video just to kind of show you the behind the scenes of lighting and how often I changed it.